Testing 1 2 3 test. Appreciate it, folks. We're just doing a little test, making sure the audio's just right. Appreciate it. Test 1 2 3 test. Testing 1 2 3. Thanks, folks. Back to your regularly scheduled music.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. It is March 4th already, 2024. Believe it or not, time is going by like 90 going north. And it is amazing. I don't know why time is rushing, but to me it seemed to be rushing. I don't know about anyone else. Anyway, you can get involved by calling 888-7753-773, 888-77 Jesse, Jesse, Jesse. We discussed last week biblical question yesterday in the fellowship. And my expert is going to come in and just do a little follow-up on it in a minute here. But it was very, very interesting. Very. And speaking of fellowship, yesterday fellowship was absolutely amazing. Amazing. Brand new biblical question for this week. Brand new biblical question. What is God? What is God? Do you know God? Do you know God, and who is God? Do you know God, and who is God? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're busy this morning, and some people are, if you're busy this morning, and some people are, and you're not able to sit and just watch the show as it's happening, I know you podcast later, but you can listen to the show anywhere in the world. If you're too busy to watch, of course, you podcast later, but you can listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. Follow us on social media. Follow us on social media. What does that mean, the listen line there?
It's not playing right now.
So we're just on there, nobody hears?
Yeah, if you try to call the listen line, it's not working right
Oh, on 641?
Right.
Oh, the listen line having some issue too. That's not our fault, right? Is that on our end?
I believe so.
Oh. Okay. Just checking. And follow us on social media. Like, ring the bell, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. We're on Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram and JLP Talk on X. To donate and have your comments read out loud. To donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk or RebuildingTheMan.com. RebuildingTheMan.com. Amazing. So my experts are here to recap yesterday's fellowship. And I want them to touch on the brand new biblical question. Who is God? And do you know God? Who is God? And do you know God? So I have in front of me my producer, one of the greatest producers on this side of heaven. Sean is here. And next to Sean is and also the expert on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And then next to Sean is Hake of the HakeReport.com. I don't see him.
I'm right here. I see me.
Oh, up there, huh?
Yep.
Oh, I see half of you down at the bottom.
Oh.
No problem. I see you up there too now. Of the Hake Report every day, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. TheHakeReport.com. And to my far right and your left, Joel Friday TV, he black. Every day except Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And next to Joel Friday, Hassan Oh, and Joel, one of the experts here as well. Hassan, the audio engineer, the expert here on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Hussein. Allahu Abba. Hassan. So, Hassan recap yesterday's, not a lot of words, but yesterday's fellowship. And with what is hell and blah, blah, blah.
I don't like going first.
What?
I don't like going first.
What?
Joel, go first.
Who?
First the worst.
Joel.
Oh, all right. Joel, recap.
Nice.
I don't see Joel.
I'm trying to think. It was good service, though. I will say it was a good service.
Was it helpful?
Insightful. Yeah, it's always insightful and helpful, and a lot of good questions were asked and a great turnout. No, I think that it always tends to be. There's always every Sunday it's people reflecting on what they learned, but also new people coming in and just having a true desire to overcome. So as far as the topic itself, I have to really think about a specific thing that stood out to me, but it was good.
And what is hell? What do you think about the answer to what is hell, the biblical question?
My answer, or what do you mean?
It doesn't matter. Your answer or what do you think about it? Maybe Monday morning too early for the expert. They need to get warmed up.
I'm going blank. I'm going blank right now.
Let me come back to you.
No. Well, I'll just say my answer on hell is, to me, I believe it to be just knowledge, and what knowledge is just thoughts without wisdom, and information that we've gained over time or just in society, and the emotions tend to latch on to that knowledge and try to call it God or from God or insight or wisdom, and it's not. And most people believe into that knowledge as wisdom, and that's pure hell because they don't really have it or understand it. So I think knowledge is hell.
Oh, okay. Sean, recap.
Yeah, what Joel said is similar to the answer that I gave. It's believing the thoughts is hell. Not believing them is not hell. But your answer was amazing. Your answer was
what was that?
Was the truth.
What was that?
It's not knowing who you are, but trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah, not knowing who you are, but still wanting to be somebody.
Still wanting to be somebody.
Isn't that amazing?
Is the truth. Is the truth. That's what I knew. If I was more still about it and didn't just go with whatever popped into my head, that's what I would have figured out, because that's obviously the truth. That's what hell is. Trying to figure out who you are is something that I've been through, and it's absolutely it is hell. It is hell because you just keep going up and down with it. You set up your own standards for yourself about who you are, your own ideas, and then you fail, and then you set up new ones, and then you fail.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. But what stood out to me about church was, I don't know if you noticed, but you, I don't know if it was accidental or not, but you accidentally explained the ending to Nefarious. You were talking about homeless people,
right?
And remember, me and you were talking about the ending to Nefarious. We're like, what does it mean when he goes to the homeless person?
Oh yeah,
and he gives her money, and then the devil starts talking to him again. He starts recognizing the voice again.
Oh yeah,
because you said something like, well, homeless people are here, like God put homeless people here in order to, I don't know if this is the exact words, but you say God put homeless people here in order to expose the people trying to help them.
Yeah,
because as soon as you try to help them, the devil's in you too.
Yeah,
you're no different than them. But if you feel like you're different than them in trying to help them, so as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's the ending to Nefarious.
Yeah,
because he tries.
I hadn't thought of it, but that makes sense.
He tries to help her, and then he recognizes the devil's voice again, or he believes the devil's voice again.
Some of the most hypocritical people on earth are those who try to help the homeless.
Yeah,
they go down, they feed the homeless, they carry it on, but it's all for a good feeling of thrill they got while hurting the homeless. They keep them homeless.
Right. And the actual way to help them is to tell them the truth.
Right.
But if you do that, the homeless people reject it. They get mad at you. You know?
I know.
Anything, any type of truth you tell the homeless person about the things that they're up to, you can't leave your garbage here. This is my property. They get mad at you.
They get mad.
You say, I can't give you money. You got to deal with this yourself. They get mad at you.
Yeah.
So it's like.
So they're not out there trying to get the right kind of help. They're just trying to stay on welfare by using other people. It reminded me of a story Hake and I did years ago about Africa. The Christians went over to Africa, and they were feeding the hunger and all that. And then as a result of bringing rice and everything to the starving people in Africa, the businesses went out of business.
Right.
Because the people stopped buying food from African and start receiving free food. And it got to the point where the business people were telling the Christians, stop it, don't come, we don't need you.
Right.
But they did it for ego reasons.
And now the amount of people who are completely on welfare by the government in Africa is everybody.
Christians cause more damage thinking that I don't know if they're thinking they're causing good. You remember that story, Hake?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, amazing, huh?
Yeah.
And yesterday, recap.
Well, we talked about men and dogs should be tough, but they're weak.
They're weakened in adults in the same way they have weakened men.
Yeah. You asked people to tell us about your fears in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And some people didn't have fears. Some people did have fears or claimed not to have fears, whatever.
Right.
And it seemed like it's somewhat connected to the what is hell thing.
Yeah.
And you talked about how you guys were just talking about the homeless, and how like certain people, somebody in church acted out a little bit, and we talked about how that's everybody. And I noticed that the what is hell thing, for me, the biblical question answer was, I couldn't really express it, but it was like the hellish personality of the homeless person, or of having to do what you're supposed to do and not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
The homeless people are some of the nastiest, meanest people you ever want to see.
Right.
And it's crazy.
Because they're enabled to let it all hang out, let their hell all hang out.
I know we have a dumb mayor of L.A., and she's talking about, I want to help the homeless.
Bring our unhoused neighbors inside.
Oh, my God. the names they come up with.
I know.
The unhoused.
People experiencing homelessness.
Right.
They want
Makes
to
me
call
wanna spit.
even the illegal aliens, they want to call them the
Newcomers.
newcomers.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
That's the new term.
That's what they have done with the word evil. They have covered up evil with all other words. And so now people don't realize that they're evil, and that's what they're dealing with.
Right.
Because they're children of the lie, cover up evil.
Yeah.
They
And
did that.
that's what they're doing with that.
And they did that with black Americans through the years, too.
Yeah, 100%.
It was the
Poor blacks.
it was the it was the N word. It was the N word, and then it was Negro, and then
Yeah.
it was colored people, and then it was African Americans, Afro Americans, people of color.
They don't even call nappy hair anymore.
Yeah,
They call it curly hair.
it's offensive, and people in our government too. Anthony Blinken, we just did the story last week. He wants people to use.
What?
He wants to use proper gendered language in order to make people more comfortable.
Yeah.
In the military too.
Evil,
It's
something
insane.
else.
But go ahead.
Hassan, you notice they want to call, they don't call it nappy hair anymore?
Oh, yeah. Now I have my answer. I'm warmed up.
What's your answer?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that when we don't know ourselves, we're separated. It's like that separation from God. And in that separation, it's like we do everything.
Nice.
We do everything to try to fill that void of being separated. And that's kind of like the pursuit of trying to be somebody.
Yeah.
It's like we try to fill the void with all these different, like you say, titles or all these different things that we're trying to be, and it's a vicious cycle when we don't know ourselves, because it's a bottomless pit of trying to fill that that thing. And it kind of reminds me of the year mission, which is what is it, to cease to exist?
Want for nothing.
What is it? Want for nothing?
Yeah,
Well, I like cease to exist because
it kind of reminds you of it, right?
Yeah.
You don't remember what it is.
Well, no, because I remember you said that the minute that we disappear, the kingdom of heaven will appear.
Right.
And it's like having to let go of just all these things. So yeah, it's interesting how the pursuit of all that is hell, and letting go of it all and
what a mess, huh?
is a form of heaven. Yeah.
Yeah. What a mess. Yes.
Because I think, doing what's right has nothing to do with how you think or feel about the situation.
Not at all.
In fact, it's all about overcoming how you think
Yeah.
or feel about the situation. If you think or feel something about it and you try to do what's right, you can be sure that it's going to be wrong.
Every time.
That's what
Absolutely.
That's what I
Amazing.
started to think about the guy who ended up walking out of church.
Well, he's working on himself. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He was
won't
not
give
the
up.
only person. He was comparing himself to his family. He's like,
Right.
yeah, I hate them and they hate me, but at least I care for them. And that's so relatable, thinking judging somebody else when you're hating them and
Right.
they're hating you, but you think that you're a little bit better than them.
What a mess.
And that guy the shy guy who went on stage,
Yeah.
also comparing himself to other people, so that was like paralyzing him.
One of the worst things you could ever do is compare yourself to anyone.
He reminded me of myself when I was 22 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
He said a lot of the same things that I used to, think about comparing myself to others and feeling lesser and all that. I heard a quote once. It said, "You'll stop caring what other people think about you when you realize how seldom they do."
Yeah.
People don't care. People don't think about you. People
Not
don't care
at
about
all.
you. Even when they do, it's not love.
It's not
no
love.
one no one cares.
Yeah. Amazing. I thought it was very interesting when you said that too, because I know a lot of people who compare themselves to others, and they're catching nothing but hell. They're not happy doing it, but they do it anyway.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was interesting is that I tell people all the time, and I've been saying this for a long time, that when situations come and you feel something about it inwardly, the devil get busy roaming around inside of you. You feel fear, you feel like you want to run. Don't run, but to go through it anyway. And people go, yeah, amen, that's right, that's right. And as soon as something happens, the first thing they do is run. They get mad or they run. They don't really go through it. That's interesting to me. I don't know if they're not understanding it or what. What is it, Joel? They don't understand it?
He's way over on the middle of the studio.
I think that people.
Bill was looking at him crazy.
When you feel something, you're not. That's just if somebody insult you, what you
Yeah.
think is you're supposed to take the insult, not run.
The running, I
Just
think.
quietly go through it.
I think because I think people aren't ready to quietly go through because of the pain they're gonna have to deal with in the midst of that. I think people want to escape. They want to run away because running away feels good. It feels comfortable. It feels nice, and they love that thrill of it, and they're not ready to deny that thrill.
But it's just going to come back again.
Right, but then they'll just keep getting high and high off the thrills.
Oh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But don't you think that there's a Samuel Adams, Trump type of way that you can address things that aren't necessarily like you can't always be quiet.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
No, this came up on Nick's show, on the Anchor Baby show,
Uh-huh.
on Friday, I think, someone called in and said, well, if you are being attacked on the street and you have to act in self-defense, you're going to get angry at the person. Like, in order to fight the person, you're going to get angry.
How can you get angry if you don't have anger inside of you?
Right.
You
Right.
don't have to get angry, but you can still
Like,
address the situation.
yeah, no,
What?
but you can address the situation.
You can address the situation without getting angry.
Right.
That would have been a Thursday show, right? Or one of the Monday through Thursday noontime shows of the Anchor.
Oh,
Baby,
right. Yeah, it must have been Thursday. Yeah.
Right.
Wednesday.
You can. I'm a little confused what's been said here. What did Hassan say about Trump? What did you say about Trump?
Well,
And
oh,
s-
sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, like, perception. Like, we were talking about perception yesterday, how people could say they could look at Jesus doing whatever he did, and people's perception is, oh, he was angry, and, you know, the
Right.
misconception of that. And it just depends on how you are viewing it. You know, people could look at the American Revolution as
But what did you say about Trump?
no, I'm just saying, like, the way he'll address things, like the way he'll call out people or say stuff on Twitter, and people are like, oh, well, I like Trump. I just don't like that he does all this
But how does that
shenanigans.
relate to not running?
Meaning, like, he's gonna a lot of times he'll come out and just say things that are like that could be looked at as like, oh, he's being petty, or he's being like, you know, like, or some people could say he's being angry, just because of the perception. I'm just saying, like, of oh, he's being, you know, he's being like a little kid, or he's being petty, or he's being angry. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he is. He could have no feelings about it. He's just addressing it, and he's just speaking up.
I know, but how does that relate to not running?
Because I think sometimes people can address things and it looks like they're having a thrill or they're getting angry about it instead of being quiet and allowing it to happen. But that's just the people's perception,
Oh,
you know?
okay.
I think there is a way to address people like without anger, or like deal with like maybe defending yourself or whatever the case is without anger, which is from when you have a certain insight and you can see. And I think that like, and I don't know Donald Trump in that specific type of way, but dealing with things don't necessarily have to be emotional, but you see them from the light, and when you see him to deal with things, you see him differently, and you have a different type of
Well, when
energy.
I say don't run, but face it, what do I mean?
by being still, like not fighting it,
Fighting what?
fighting the desire to go through the pain, fighting the pain, laying the weapons down.
Yes. And can I just add one thing? Or no?
No, I mean I don't get.
Yes.
It's not up to me.
Yes, I agree with that. You can do that, but then you could also do that internally where you're seeing it and putting the weapons down. But sometimes you got to physically put up the weapons for the American Revolution. That's my Samuel Adams point. It's like you could do both. It's not necessarily like, yeah.
And what am I referring to when I say don't run, but to face it?
To just see it for what it is, as evil, and to be still at the same time.
How would you,
To not pretend it's good or
to
pretend
see what?
the evil inside you, the evil within you, and inside of others. And my point on Nick's show was that you can absolutely defend yourself and but be still at the same time. You can act and be still at the same time
Okay.
by seeing things as they actually are,
Yeah.
like by calling it what it is.
What do I say when I say don't run?
Don't inwardly run from the feeling. Like, don't do anything about the feeling,
What feelings?
the conflict, the insecurity, the feeling of being attacked or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in every human being on this side of heaven, there's a fear or an embarrassment or a worry or a lonely feeling or whatever, or somebody insult you feeling, and instead of just watching that and letting that be so you can see it's not you and overcome it. Most people run, they get mad. That's a form of running. They argue about it. That's a form of running, rather than allowing that feeling to happen so they can die from it.
Or
That
they-
makes sense?
Or they laugh, or they
Right? They laugh, they
look
feel
hurt, or
shy.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
point.
what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that if you need to speak up, don't speak up, but don't defend the feeling, whatever it might be.
That's a good point because there's a temptation to like identify with that feeling as you, like
Yeah.
the fear,
Yeah.
and then you end up wanting to do something about it. So you convince yourself that you're not afraid, or like you're not weak, or you're not beta, when you're supposed to just let it overtake you because it doesn't even exist in the first place. So it's a weird thing.
And what does Hassan mean by the Revolutionary War and that?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, sometimes you can, yeah, I agree with you. The internal fight and the internal conflict, you have to be aware of that and see what it is and be patient and understand with that. And I agree. But then sometimes people just got to get whooped on sometimes.
I agree with that, though.
But that's what they want. They want
Nah,
you to
it
act
ain't
like
about
that.
what they want. It's about, there's justification, there's justice in America.
What do you mean when you say people have to, because of time?
Yeah.
When you say people have to get whooped on some time, what do you mean?
Not necessarily literally, but I'm just saying, like, as far as, things just have to be addressed. You have to, because sometimes there's a fear in not speaking up because, they gonna think you angry. So don't like put someone in a place right now because you gonna look like you're emotional or you're angry, and that's also a setup.
Very
So-
interesting. Let me do this because
Yeah.
of time, because I want to end this. Brand new biblical question, Hassan. We'll start with you since you have the mic.
Going to break.
What?
The break.
Oh, you hear it already? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't hear
I
it.
don't.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
I hear it.
Now I hear it. Amazing. Okay, let me take a quick break. When I come back, your phone calls, 888-7753-773. Back in a moment. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality. Let me get this final answer from my experts, and then I get to your phone calls. All right, Hassan, who is God, and do you know God?
Who is God?
Brand new biblical question, by the way, folks.
God is love. God is the Father. God. Yeah, God. Yeah, God is love and peace.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
You don't seem sure.
Yeah, Joel is being silly. And do I know God? 2-part question this week.
Yeah. Our first time for a 2-part, I think.
I know. It's a lot of brain power. I do. I do. And I'd like to know him more. And I'd like to have more light. It's kind of like when you say you get a little bit of light and you want more. So I do know I've had moments of it. And yeah, I'd like to.
Maybe the question would be, do you know God, and then who is God?
No, I like it this way around.
Okay.
Because it exposes the fakers.
Joel, who is God, and do you know God?
So which one should I answer first?
Who is God?
Who is God?
Yeah.
Who is God, do you know God?
Who is God is well, I mean, we all know, and I'm still smoking on this, so yeah, we all know God is love, so we know that part.
No, who are you speaking for?
Or for myself.
Who you saying
God
we
is
all? I'm asking you. Who is God, and do you know God?
Who is God is love, and do I know God? Yes, and the reason why I know God is because when you get to know yourself, you know God, and you see that you are, in a sense, without it being like this weird thing, that you are God. God is within. And when you get to know yourself, that's when you get to know God, and that's how you know God.
Who is God, and do you know God? Sean.
God is the Father or the Creator. Nothing else.
And do you know God?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hake, who is God, and do you know God?
I'm not sure. And I feel like if I were to answer the first one, I would be exposed as lying if I'm like guessing whether I know him. Because if I don't know him, then how do I know who he is?
Yeah, that just happened with me.
So that's my present predicament.
So your answer what? Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that one day you hear yourself say, I don't know who God is?
Not necessarily when I don't know. I never really thought about it. I've thought about it a little bit. It's crossed my mind.
Okay. Amazing.
Oh, I have a little better answer.
Okay.
Well, just in addition, like the moments of being, like when you talk about being present and fully conscious,
Right.
those are definitely moments where you know, you just know things are right. Like you know the order of God is there, the peace, so yeah.
Okay.
I have a
Yes,
question.
Sean.
I have a question. If you refer to God as the Father, is that specifically like a Southern Baptist thing? Is that something that they do? Do you know?
Refer to God as the Father?
Right. Like, do only certain denominations refer to God as the Father?
In the
'Cause-
South?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it's a Baptist thing for sure.
I wonder if it
I don't-
originated as a Baptist thing,
But
because
right,
not
I
all
don't
of them
know.
refer to him as the Father.
Not all the Baptists?
Not all denominations refer to him
Right,
as the Father.
I
And
know.
I think it's important to refer to him as the Father.
Jesus did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
That's an interesting question. I don't know.
I feel like Baptists make a point of referring to him as the Father.
Nice.
I don't know if they're deliberately making a point at doing, or maybe just
Because it brings into the picture the whole
Right.
order and everything,
Yeah.
So it might.
interesting question, man. Amazing. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
now that I've spoken with you guys about the biblical question, I appreciate it even more.
Good.
My experience, thank you. Amazing. Let me go to Emily out of Fort Worth, Texas. Emily, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yes, hi, Jesse. I have always trusted that the Bible is a book of instructions, not a book of religion, because God is our religion. And God put us here and gave us intelligence just to see how we were going to use it. You know, He's given us the freedom of choice, which is sometimes our cross because we don't always make the right choice. And He's always speaking to us, but we're not always listening. I feel Him sometimes. It's not He's shouting or He's yelling or He's talking. It's a feeling like when I make a choice and there's a contradiction, I feel uneasy. That's Him talking to me. Don't make that choice. Try the other way. And when I don't listen, I slip and fall. And now I've gotten used to listening to Him.
What do you mean by God is a religion?
God is who we're all about, not the Bible. The Bible is a book of instructions because of, like, for instance, if you were to go out and
But what do you
have
mean
sex
by
with
what do you mean that God is a religion?
what I believe in. And a religion is something you believe in. And there's so many different religions. All of them have a little bit of the whole piece. When God split us to the four corners of the earth.
I want to go back to, you say, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just never heard it put that way before. When you say God is a religion, how is He a religion?
Because what is the definition of religion? Religion is something you believe in wholeheartedly. Like some people believe in the Catholic Church or the Jewish Church or whatever, but I believe in one church as a whole, which is God.
Why do you supposed to? What makes you think you should believe in religion?
That's how we've been taught, but I'm learning different.
So you've been taught to believe in religion?
Yes.
And you still believe in religion?
No.
Oh, so you don't. So if God is religion, you don't believe in religion? So that means you don't believe in God?
I use the word religion as what we look toward, not religion as the word itself, okay? I may have used the
Yeah, you said
wrong.
God is a religion.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that means.
I was trying to put it in the correct perspective as how other people would view religion, using it as a common denominator, not a specific, but a general, you know.
And when you say God give us a choice, what's the choice?
Our intelligence. He gives us a choice between right and wrong. He gives us now, animals don't have to worry about that. They live on instinct. We live on intelligence. So our intelligence has been our cross because we don't always make the right choice, you know.
But
and what
when you
sin?
say God has given us a choice, give me the example of a choice that God gave us.
Okay, every day, every thought, every moment is a choice. You get up, if you want to lay down, you want to go to work, you don't want to go to work. All of these are choices. Every moment of our life is choice. God used to make those choices for us. But He says, well, I'm going to give you the ability to make a choice. Let's see what you're going to do with it.
But God does not give us choices.
He gave us the ability to make choice.
He never gave us ability to make choice. One of the worst things that you could do in life is make a choice.
Okay, so who makes your choices for you?
Either the devil or God make them for you, but you never make a choice. You have never made a choice in your whole life.
Okay. Give me an example.
You have never made a choice in your whole life.
And why do you say that?
Because it's impossible for human beings to make choices.
And why? Do you make a choice to get up or not get up?
No, I get up because I have to get up. The choice is already made. I either get up and go to work.
No. And that's true, Jesse. the devil shall come in many disguises. He may even disguise himself as God. And that's how he gets a hold of it.
What does that have to do with choices, though?
Because you can choose between good and bad or good and evil.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because you don't know what good and evil is.
Oh, my Lord, that's so true. Yes. What is the difference between good and evil?
But why did you say you can choose between good and evil?
Because sometimes I make the wrong choices. And I find out later I should have gone the other way. And sometimes I can not hear verbally, okay, I feel that I'm going to make the wrong choice. But then I think, well, I know better. No, I don't know better, okay?
But Emily, why do you say that you can make a choice when we are not, it's impossible to make a choice?
How about selection?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Would that be a better word than choice? Is a selection. You select to get up, or you select not to get up? Would that be a better word than choose?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, it wasn't the question.
Emily, I got to run. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesse. I listen to you all the time. You're so right on.
I appreciate it. Call me again, though, okay?
Oh, thank you, Jesse. Thank you.
All right. I forgot today is Female Monday. What? Thank you, Emily. You reminded me. It is, with all the commotion going on this morning, it is Female Monday. What?
I like to make men uncomfortable.
All my life I had to fight.
Let women take over.
Some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men.
I proudly say I'm a feminist. Thank you.
Deep in their soul, they want to be home with those babies. We've been lied to for so long.
888-775-3773. My bad. Ryan is a first-time caller out of Ohio. Ryan, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, Ryan.
All right, thank you. I just have two questions. First, how do I figure out what to forgive my parents for?
By getting to know yourself, seeing what's going on inside of you.
And figuring out, so I have anger.
Right.
And so that's a part of it, right?
Yes, 100%. Because if you didn't resent your parents, you would not have anger.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Do you resent your mother?
I don't think so.
And why not? Why do you don't think so?
I'm forgiving her now. I don't think.
If you don't think you have anger toward her, why are you forgiving her? What are you forgiving her for?
Oh, that's true.
No, that was a question.
I think so. The way I'm thinking about it, I have anger. I often have anger because I get a little frustrated with my kids sometimes, and I become aware of that anger, and I feel like that's how my mom did me sometimes growing up, and that's where that resentment comes from. It's kind of hard for me to articulate, but that's kind of how I think about it, if that makes sense.
That makes a whole lot of sense. When you say I'm forgiving her, what do you mean by that? You said something like I'm forgiving her now or something. How are you doing that?
So far, it's just a plan right now to get in touch with her and tell it to her face.
Oh, I see.
And have a conversation.
Is it hard to reach her or something?
No. She lives nearby. I just haven't done it yet.
And why not?
I was afraid.
Of what?
I think her reaction, yeah.
Yeah. You're married?
Yes.
And does your wife obey you?
Yes.
Your wife obey you?
Yes.
How is it that your wife obey you and you're afraid of your mother?
I don't have that fear now. That's why I want to tell her now.
You don't have that fear of facing your mother?
I don't have the fear of her
You
reaction.
just said you had it. The fear of how she might react.
I guess in the last couple of weeks while thinking about it, but listening to you, it's kind of dissipated because it just makes more sense in my head now.
And how is it that your wife obey you when you can't deal with your mother? Because you're married to your mother.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know what?
How my wife obeys me if I'm afraid of my mother.
How do you know she obeys you? Obey you?
Well, she respects me, and
how do you know that?
What I tell her to do.
I'm sorry?
And she does what I tell her to do.
Does she stay home and raise your children?
Yes.
She stays home?
Yes.
Good. And have you forgiven your father?
Not to his face.
And why not?
I don't know why. I think I just never realized that's something I have to do to get through my anger for him.
You have anger toward your father?
Yeah, I did.
And you have anger toward your father?
Yes.
And how do you know you have anger toward your father but don't know you have it toward your mother?
I think I do have anger toward my mother.
But why are you so uncertain about, you're not sure about your mother, but you are about your father?
I think it's because I don't know. I'm not sure.
And what did your father do to you?
He wasn't as open with me as I would have preferred.
And what did he do to you? That made you angry at him?
I think I don't know. This is a good question. It's hard for me to remember.
So how do you remember that you're angry at him then, but you don't remember being angry at your mother?
I think it's because maybe I have more of a memory of my dad treating me in a certain way that I wouldn't prefer to be treated as when I was a kid.
Like how, for an example, if you can say?
Just not. I know I already said it. I'm trying to figure out a better way to say it. Maybe not being as open with me about learning God.
What?
Not being as open with me about like learning God and learning about myself.
So you're angry at your father because he wasn't open with you about learning God?
Yeah, like I guess what I'm trying to say, like he didn't really talk much about God with me.
And how would that make you angry?
I don't know. The anger just kind of rose up inside me.
Oh, so the anger...
Does it make any sense?
Not at all.
It's hard for me. Part of the problem too is like it's hard for me to remember because I did have, like, I consider myself to have a really good childhood.
Right.
But like when I listen to you talk, and you're like, I know like I have anger, so I've been trying to think more about that. Like, why do I have anger? And I know it comes from my parents, so it's something I'm trying to like process and think about. But all in all, like I didn't have anything bad happen in my childhood. Like I was
right. What who were you closest to growing up? Your father or your mother?
My mother.
Right. And why?
I spent more time with her, and she talked with me a little more.
And why?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's almost like a question of why wouldn't my dad talk with me more?
How does your mother see your father?
She loves him.
How does she see your father?
She sees him as someone to obey.
Right, hold on. Can you hold?
Yeah, I can hold.
Let me take a quick break. 888-7753-773. 2 more hours to go. When I come back, straight to the calls in your Super Chats. Back in a moment. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature.
DEI is going down in Florida, and Trump is dominating, except for in D.C. Nikki Haley won in D.C., her primary. And Texas is burning and California is snowing. At least it was over the weekend. This is the end of hour one already. It is Female Monday, March 4th, AD 2024. Stay tuned for hour two. JLP will be right back to your calls, guys. The lines are full. JLP will be right back. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Die, DEI. The evil idea, not the people. We love all people who are lost in DEI, if we love anybody. The far-left female-run outlet The Skim reports that a top university in Florida has cut all DEI positions to fall in line with a new state law. Last year, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican, not a Republicant, except for when it comes to running for president. He signed legislation that bans the state's public colleges and universities from funding diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. He claims they're discriminatory and woke indoctrination. In response, University of North Florida and Florida International University put up DEI on the chopping block to do away with it. Now the University of Florida is ranked one of the top public colleges, as the top public college in the South by the Rhino outlet Wall Street Journal last year. They have terminated more than 24 positions. Wow. And pulled out all DEI-focused contracts. Pardon me. My fault. Pardon me. All DEI-focused contracts with outside vendors. The school said that they plan to redistribute about $5 million in DEI expenses into a faculty recruitment fund. And other states are ready to follow suit. Texas, for one. The state's ban on DEI initiatives in offices at public universities and colleges took effect at the beginning of the year. In January, Utah's governor also signed a bill rolling back so-called DEI programs, not just at state universities, but also government offices. Based Utah. Shout out to the Mormons, right? Since 2021, Republican lawmakers have proposed slashing college DEI programs in 21 states, according to one analysis. I mean, you have to get rid of it from social media. I mean, it's entrenched. The GOP is taking shots at DEI, saying the programs undermine education or tools for promoting left-wing ideology, of course. DEI supporters say the initiatives are crucial to help students of all backgrounds succeed in higher education. In the wake of 2020's phony racial reckoning against white people in the name of fallen St. George, Florida, DEI initiatives garnered widespread support nationwide from the degenerates, the blind. 4 years later, colleges are struggling to continue the progress, they call it, for fear of violating the just laws, or, halfway reasonable laws. Anyway, Trump is dominating. Who's stacking up delegates ahead of Super Tuesday, which is tomorrow, March 5th? Our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, say the ladies at the Skim. Over the weekend, Trump came out victorious in Idaho, Missouri, and Michigan caucuses. Meanwhile, former UN ambassador Nikki Haley picked up her first primary win in none other than Washington, D.C. The witch is popular in the establishment swamp. So rich. She still only has 43 delegates compared to Trump's 244. Nikki Haley said she's sticking things out as long as her campaign is quote-unquote competitive. Tomorrow, Super Tuesday kicks off with voters in 15 states headed to the polls to help decide who will be the Republican nominee. I wonder. But today, all eyes are on the so-called Supreme Court, except for Hake's, which is expected to rule on Trump's eligibility to stay on the Colorado primary ballot, given his actions in the January 6th insurrection, which it was not. By the way, Joe Biden's State of the Union address is this Thursday. Did you know that? State of the Union is strong. And in an interview with NBC, Nikki Haley said that she's no longer bound by a Republican National Committee pledge to support the eventual nominee. So she's backing down on her thing. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, I think. Hour 2.
To stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-7753, 773-888-77-JESSE. JESSE, my brand new biblical question, and it is a doozy. It is a stone doozy. Who is God? Who is God? And do you know God? It's backwards. It should be the other way around. Who is God? Do you know God? You have it up there. Who is, do you know God? I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Who is God? Do you know God? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're busy smashing and grabbing, carjacking, killing one another on the streets, fighting at Disneyland or Magic World or wherever that fight happened, or whatever, smoking fentanyl or buying fentanyl. If you're busy doing those things and you just don't have time to sit and watch the show right now, you got to watch it once you buy it and smoke it. I know you can podcast, but you could be listening while you're doing what you're doing anywhere in the world. 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on cozy.tv/JLP, where Christ is King. Cozy.tv/JLP or rumble.com. Rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Like, follow, ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. Subscribe. And to donate, and we're going to get to your super chats in a minute. To donate and have your super chats read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/ buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Jesse Lee or rebuildingtheman.com. It's Monday. And every Monday, we take the ladies' calls first, but we take all calls. Every Monday is Female Monday.
I like to make men uncomfortable.
All my life I had to fight.
Let women take over.
Some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men.
I proudly say I'm a feminist. Thank you.
Deep in their soul, they want to be home with those
Deep
babies.
in my soul,
We've been lied to for so long.
I do believe. Female Monday. I want to go quickly back to Ryan. And Ryan trying to figure out, how do I forgive? What do I forgive my parents for? So he's doing some self-examination. Examining now. Hey, Ryan, out of Ohio.
Hey, yes.
And so why were you closest to how does your father feel about your mother?
He loves her.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, he treats her really good. It's kind of like a visual thing, the way I see it.
And how do you know he loves her?
Well, he takes care of her. He provides for her.
And how does your mother feel about your father?
She loves him.
How do you know that?
Well, she's there with him, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe with words.
Amazing. And when you would ask your father to help you deal with your mother growing up, what would he help you with her?
Well, I don't know if I asked.
I'm sorry?
I don't think I ever asked that.
You did not?
No.
And why not? Why you never ask him to help you deal with your mother while growing up?
Well, she wasn't. She never was like that bad towards me or anything like that. Like, she was always kind with me.
And so she was perfect?
I think. Well, no.
She was not perfect?
No.
And what was imperfect about her that you didn't like at times?
It's the same thing that I see in myself sometimes. Just getting a little angry or frustrated with kids. It was more like when I was younger.
And she would get angry and frustrated and do what?
Just have an angry reaction, like yell. It was mostly something like yelling, but never like a name calling.
And when you asked your father to tell her to back off, that she was impatient or yelling or angry at times, would he tell her to back off?
Yeah, he would if he was there. My memories were more like when he was at work.
But when you would tell him to tell her to back off, did he tell her?
I don't think I ever told him that.
Why not?
No. It didn't occur to me as a kid.
Oh. And how old are your kids? Your kids now?
7, 4, and 2.
And when they tell you to tell their mother to back off, do you deal with her? You tell her to back off?
Yes, it's a similar thing. Like, they don't necessarily say something, but I will see it happen, and then I can intervene.
How do you intervene?
I take the kids.
And do they see you? You take a kid? What do you mean by that?
Like I'll like take them physically, maybe to somewhere else in the house or something.
And
give everyone a chance to cool off.
And do you tell her to back off and stop being impatient and being angry at the children?
Yes, but I don't say it that way.
How do you say it?
I say something like, I'm trying to think how I would say it. I'd say something like try to get her to understand, I guess, why the kids are acting a certain way. Try to like bring some understanding.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like an example would be like, oh, you have to keep in mind, she was up a lot last night, and she's like if I'm talking about my daughter, and so she's a little more emotional today, so we have to go easy on her.
So why don't you tell her in front of the kids, back off, you're being angry, you're evil, you're destroying the children. Why don't you say that to her so the kids can see you defending them?
Well, I feel like that would kind of trigger an emotional reaction from her, more like make things a little more chaotic than they would need to be. I will set them aside though. Like when I take them out, then I might say something like, hey, she is acting a little angry, and it's okay.
It's not okay for them to be angry. Why don't you correct the mother in front of the children so that they know that they have protection from the father? And when you're not around, they'll tell you about it when you get home. Why don't you do that? Correct the evil in your wife in front of the children.
I view that like I do that to some degree just by taking them out of the room.
Why don't you correct their mother in front of the kids so they'll see that their father's protecting them?
I think I do.
You just don't. You say you take the kids away.
Well, that's how I view it, as like kind of correcting the situation.
But how is that helping your wife when you don't call out the hell that's in her? Your job is to bring her out of her hell too.
That is true. So we will talk later. A lot of times too.
Why don't you do it in front of your children so they'll learn how to do it as well, and they'll see that their father loved them, and that way they'll love you because they see that you love them.
Thinking back on it, a couple of times, I think I have done that. But now that I have 3 kids, a lot of times these situations, they're all like yelling a lot, or the baby might be crying or something, and it's kind of hard to have that dialogue
because they're becoming like their mother. Their mother is turning them against you by recreating them in her image, as your mother has done with you. And your father would not protect your mother either. I mean, you from your mother, because he was afraid of her anger. He was afraid it might get worse, and he didn't know how to handle it.
You're right about that.
That impatience that your mother did upon you was evil, and that's why you identify with your mother and not your father. She has recreated you her image, so you're just like your mama, and you're married to your mama, and the cycle has repeated itself.
Yeah. I don't disagree. It just wasn't ever clear before.
I understand. I totally understand. Most people don't see that they resent. All human beings, male and female, resent their mothers. And they don't see it. And as a result of not seeing it, they just repeat the cycle generation after generation. And that hell is coming through the mother. But if you go and face your mother, forgive her, don't ask for forgiveness, forgive her for that lack of patience, which was hate and anger, and it destroyed your innocence. And forgive your father for not being able to protect you from her, because he feels the same way about her that you feel about your wife. He doesn't know how to deal with that anger. So like you're trying to hide the kids or take the kids, but you're not solving the problem at all. Because when you're not around, your wife is destroying your children. She has no love.
Yeah. And it's my job to put the love back in.
Put the love back in your wife?
Well,
she never had love.
Correct her so she can find it within.
Right. Because she got to forgive her mother. She's become like her mother, and she's married to her father, a weak man.
Yeah. That segues into my. I had a second question, only if time permits.
Okay.
It's just real quick. What's the difference between forgiving your parents versus apologizing for resenting them? It seems like those two kind of go hand in hand, right?
Well, when you apologize for resenting them for what they've done, that is, a couple things are happening. You're admitting that you're wrong for judging them, for being angry, and you are forgiving them by admitting that you realize that they could not help themselves, and so you're sorry for resenting them. Because when you're young, you don't know that they cannot help themselves. We expect our parents to be perfect, and we don't know that they can't help themselves, that they're driven by evil. And so you're apologizing as an adult. I'm sorry for resenting you. I see now that you couldn't help yourself. And that's what forgiveness is. You don't ask for forgiveness. You apologize for judging.
Okay.
For playing God. Because all who has anger play God. They judge, they make decisions. At least they think they do. And they play God. And so you're playing God by not forgiving them.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I wanted to make sure it's important to say, like, I forgive you. Because I could just apologize, but I want to, like, actually say the words, like, I forgive you.
Well, when you say to them, I'm sorry for resenting you, or you can say I forgive you too, but I'm sorry for forgiving you, for resenting you, because your father feels exactly the way you're feeling on the inside. He has fear. He doesn't know how to deal with your mother. He has not forgiven his mother. He really can't stand up unless he's angry. He is experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. And likewise is your mother. She too has fear. She has anger. She has doubt. And she doesn't know how to handle herself, just like you don't. Exactly what you are today is what they are on the inside.
Right. Yeah.
And once you forgive them, God will forgive you. Once you go and face them and forgive them, God will forgive you, and he would take the spirit of your mother away from you, which is the spirit of evil, and he will give you his spirit, which is the spirit of good.
Right. That makes sense.
What do you think? And then I got to run. What do you think will happen if you told your wife that she's evil?
She'd probably get angry.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't have a feeling about it.
What do you think about if she got angry? Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Can you handle it if your wife got angry?
Yeah.
And so if you can handle it, why don't you correct her in front of your children? Why do you have to take them away from the room?
I think you're right. I was, when I think back, I think I was doing that more for like a logistical reason, or just being lazy, because the kids are all kind of chaotic at the moment.
Because they have a chaotic mother. Kids are not born chaotic. They have a chaotic mother, and you're not dealing with it because you're afraid of the chaos in her.
Right. And dealing with it in front of them teaches them.
Yes. When they see you dealing with her with patience and telling her that anger is evil and to back off your children, not to do that to them, you're going to draw them closer to you. But if you don't, she's going to draw them closer to her and recreate them, as she's already doing, in that same hell that she's in. Women don't have love, they only have hate.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you doing the silent prayer yet?
Yes, sir. I love the silent prayer.
You do it every morning and night?
I don't do it every morning, every night.
And why not?
Honestly, I forget.
So working on yourself, putting the kingdom of God first is not important to you yet?
Oh, it is important. I need to do it every morning, every
But not
night.
first? It's not the first thing? You're not ready to put that first?
I am ready. I am ready. I don't want to suffer.
You're already suffering.
Well, the suffering is kind of like what is a reminder for me to do the silent prayer a lot of times. Like, I practice that emotional awareness when I feel it inside. It's kind of like an alarm.
You don't think you would do it without the pain? If you didn't have the pain, you would forget to put God first?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
It sounds like that what you're saying. If you didn't have the suffering, you would not remember to be still and know the Father.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's true for me.
Oh, okay.
But what I was trying to say is that suffering is oftentimes what reminds me.
Right, I understand that. You like your suffering?
No.
Well, here's what I recommend, right? And then I got to run. Do the silent prayer, commit to it morning and night, so you can become conscious. All unconscious people suffers. So you want to become conscious. Want to be in the present at all times. And in the present is where perfect peace, and you will see how to deal with all things. So I recommend you do the prayer morning and night, and then during the day, bring your mind back to your body if you get caught up in the illusion of a past or future. And then go deal with your mother and your father, forgive them, and just work on you. It's going to be amazing.
That sounds like a plan. Yeah, thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, brother. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, I will.
All right. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. 888-7753-773. Mike is a first-time call out of Maryland. Mike, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. How you doing today?
All is well, Mike.
So some of the questions I had today were revolving around the civil rights movement. I'm in my mid-30s, so I've only lived in a post-civil rights movement world. And I was curious, what were the forces pushing for civil rights outside of black people to try to have single motherhood be subsidized? So who was behind the civil rights movement outside of just black people?
Are you black?
No.
Oh. So for what I'm learning as I more and more about it, Martin Luther King and all those guys were for it. And I hear that amongst that movement, they were a member of the Communist Party and people who believe in socialism and all that kind of stuff. So it seemed to be mixed with a whole bunch of people who did not have good intention for the blacks and for America, for the whites.
So you believe that the people that were pushing for this did have ill intentions for the black community? Because I've listened to your content before, and it sounds like before the civil rights movement, there was more family, there was more education, and now that we see post-civil rights movement, there's not an emphasizing on education. There's no, it's all about rap culture and being as far away from white people as they possibly can be. And I would like to know why that is.
The so-called civil rights movement was never for the blacks. It was always for themselves, a way of gaining money and perceived power by controlling the people, putting them into a herd mentality, a group mentality, making them identify with color rather than their character. It was never meant to free the blacks up. I mean, they were already free, but it was never meant to make them better. It was always meant to control them.
Well, that's fascinating. And I'm also curious, so and we can see with the Black Lives Matter movement, if you follow the money, it goes back to a fellow named George Soros. Now, if we follow the money back to the civil rights movement, do we have a target? Like, you say that there was communists, there were socialists, but do we have receipts? Do we know who these people actually were?
Well, during that time, the so-called civil rights leader, Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, and a couple of people died already. Those older people, they were doing it for themselves.
So you think that they were being paid to deceive their own people just so they could make a paycheck?
Well, I don't know if they were getting paid to do it, but I do know that the money that they were gathering would end up in everybody's pockets but the people they claim to be fighting for, because there's no such thing as civil rights anyway. And also it put them as the leaders of the blacks, which caused them to become congressmen and mayors of the cities and whatever. It caused the blacks to vote for them, which gave them perceived power so that they can gather whatever they wanted in that way as well.
That's quite interesting.
You should watch. Have you watched Uncle Tom 2?
I have not.
Watch Uncle Tom 2.
Okay.
What's that website? UncleTom.com. It lays it out perfectly in there.
Okay, I'll have to give that a watch.
Okay.
So another thing that I had about that movement is that how do we make the black community value education? Because in my opinion, this all comes back to education. If you're more worried about becoming smart rather than following your favorite rap song that says kill this, do do this.
It's not about education. The less education you have, the smarter you are, the wiser you are. It's about returning to individuality. It's about taking responsibility as a grown individual. It's about taking responsibility for yourself. And that's how the black youth, they did it prior to the civil rights movement. Because if you know that educated people are dumb, they're evil, they're intellectually wicked. So it's not about education. Education is not the answer. It's about taking responsibility for your own life.
So, I mean, I guess that comes back to the family unit, right? If you're taking responsibility, you're taking. We see that black fatherlessness is quite high, and I guess that would align with what you're saying.
If you take responsibility for yourself, you're going to automatically be responsible for your wife and kids if you have them. But the most important thing is to take responsibility for yourself.
So how do we realistically clean up this mess that is America?
You can't do it. You got to just work on you, and you can't make anyone else change. You can't even change yourself. You have to work on you and to change what happened, but you can't make the blacks or anyone else be responsible. You just have to work on yourself.
Okay, that's a fair position, because oftentimes I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders.
And why do you feel that way?
Issues. I don't know. I just I feel responsible for some. I don't know. I guess I have maybe a small leader gene or something in me that I feel like I want to make America be the best it can possibly be.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
And why do you feel that way?
Well, I want America to be great. I want to have safe streets. I want to be able to go out and walk around at 3 in the morning if I want and not have to worry about being robbed.
Why do you feel that the weight of the world's on your shoulder, though? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest. It's just something that I've been.
What does that feel
I feel like?
I've
been burdened with.
What does that feel like? To feel like the weight of the world on your shoulder.
There's a lot of anxiety involved. There's a lot of pressure. A lot of worry. You know.
And who do you blame for that?
Who do I? Well, I don't want to get your show canceled, but my people say the tribe of small hat, big problem.
Who do you blame for that, Mike?
Oh, the world's problems or my problems?
That you think that you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. Who you blame for that?
I don't know that I blame anyone. Obviously, it's myself because it's my perception.
And why are you so prideful and on an ego trip that you think you need to or have the weight of the world on your shoulder? Why are you so prideful?
I guess I'm prideful of the fact that I have a certain set of beliefs that I believe the world should follow so we can flourish.
But why do you think the world should follow your belief when you're not even following your own belief?
In what regard?
Anyone that think that they have the world on their shoulder is not following their own belief. They're not following their own belief. They think they can carry the world. They're playing God.
Interesting. I mean, in regards to my own beliefs on how society should be run, I mean, I definitely do that in my own life. But, you know, as I said, I'm from Maryland, so I live in a very diverse area, and I can see
how are
the
you
effects
doing
of,
that in your own life if you think that you carry the world on your shoulder? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me either. It's just how I feel. Like, I feel a responsibility to make things good for other people.
You can't make things good for others. You can't even make it good for yourself.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. I feel like I'm pretty sound in how I live my life. I'm just trying to spread that to others.
A sound man would never think he has the world on his shoulder. That's the sign of a unsane man. Thank you, Mike. I got to take a break. Back in a moment. It is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy. They're miserable. They have rough lives. They're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand. I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. The Hake report is coming up, at 9 a.m. this morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. The Hake, Hake report.com. And after the Hake report, Joel Friday TV, he back. Joel Friday TV. And at 12 noon, the American Anchor Baby. Energy given to him by God, a genius. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon. For personal shout-outs, and I'll do them myself, go to Cameo, Cameo, Lee Peterson, birthday shout-outs, weddings, encouragements, congratulations, whatever the occasion might be. All right? Super chat. Super
Chats.
Over on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com.
You ought to see.
/ at Jesse Lee Peterson. During the Fallen State live stream premiere thing.
Last Friday.
Yeah, this past Friday. Quebecensis says, Jesse Lee Peterson, please ask. If she is such a great inventor, why does she sell pictures of her self?
Check out last Friday episode. Very interesting of the Fallen State .tv. It was amazing. Thank you.
Over on Cash App, So Callous says, hey, Jesse, Prince or Michael Jackson?
As for his talent, huh? They both were amazing. I don't know. They both were amazing. This is what it sounds like when doves fly.
Cry.
I'm taken by the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. I don't know. What?
I know what I would say.
What?
Michael, easy.
Really?
Because he has more mass appeal. Prince was very artsy and multi-talented.
Right.
And it was harder to access for the lay person. That's why Michael's just so much better known, even than Prince. Prince is very, very well known, but
I'm thinking about the talent. They both were very, very, very talented.
Right.
I don't know.
Prince was more talented, says Hassan.
Who?
Hassan says Prince was more talented.
Prince is definitely more talented.
Than Michael?
Yeah, but you gotta go Mike.
Yeah.
Why?
Mass appeal.
He's just Mike. He's everything.
The songs are just brilliant.
Yeah, he changed the world.
Prince was making all the.
Yeah, Prince played all the instruments and. Yeah, he invented. He
played all the different instruments. He could really sing.
What did he invent?
He was talented.
He invented like actual soundscapes and actual instruments like keyboard synthesizers.
Right.
But you got to go Mike.
And I like the fact that Prince lived way out somewhere in a small town by himself.
Was Prince naturally part white?
I don't know. Can he be unnaturally part white?
Michael Jackson seemed unnaturally part white toward the end here.
Bill, who you like talent most? Michael or Prince? See?
Just listening wise, I easily
talent,
prefer.
you got to go Prince.
Easy listening, Michael.
Who, Bill? I don't know. You don't know? Prince even showed us what Purple Rain looked like.
It's true.
See, that song is too... That song is too... It's such an emotional... It's too emotional.
And when he performed at the Super Bowl... He performed at the Super Bowl.
I just like fun songs.
Purple Rain, Purple Rain.
And it's long.
I only want to see you once again in the purple rain.
What was the song just saying?
God made it rain during his Super Bowl performance.
See?
Ah, beautiful.
While he was doing Purple Rain.
Yeah, we're purple. Joel said, I skip that song every time. What the?
Yeah, see, it's too...
He believe that.
It's
because you can't
too
dance
much
to it.
drama.
You can't dance to it? Why not?
You
Well,
could
you
dance.
could,
You
but
could
not
interpretive
like-
dance.
You can slow dance.
Yeah, not Joel style dance. That's better for Michael
I
Jackson.
don't know. I've never.
Boring,
I've
says
never.
Joel. See, Joel's like me. We like excitement.
This is what
Soft,
it feels
light,
like
easy.
when doves cry. I don't know. That's a very good question. I've never pondered which I prefer in talent, Michael or Prince. They were both amazing. Thank you.
You got your money's worth, SoCalis. George bought a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. I have had trouble with focus and concentration at work my whole life. I have forgiven my mother and father in person and do the silent prayer morning and night, every morning and night, but I still have trouble with focus and concentration at work. Would it be wrong for me to see a doctor about getting ADHD medication to help with this?
Well, I absolutely cannot give you medical advice, but you don't want to focus. You want to be present. You want to be conscious. And so practice not being in your thoughts all the time, because that's where it's difficult to be conscious when you're in your thoughts all the time. It's a mad world in there, right? So practice being aware, but I don't know about the medication. You have to seek a doctor for that. Thank you.
Ryan B. bought a coffee. I'm a recovering Bible thumper. Less beta every day. Beta! All thanks to God and the best podcast on this side of heaven.
Amazing. Thank you. Amazing. Stay with it.
Ryan B. another coffee. You are the light of Christ for the internet. I only once considered unfollowing you. It was recently when your guest asked you a question. Do you think Jesus died for your sins? And your answer was, JLP, no. Pause, Hake. I know he died for my sins. Amazing. Thanks, JLP and crew.
Amazing. Thank you.
And a third coffee from Ryan B. Can we please get one? The wall going up.
Oh, the wall going up. We can do better than that for you, because the wall going up. Yeah, Mr. President, take this home. The wall going up. The wall going up. It's long overdue. The wall going up. 30-foot wall. The wall going up. The wall going up. At the border, I'm stunned. The red pill lion. Amazing. Thank you. The wall going up.
Billy bought a coffee. I think love is a simple hug. What do you think about that? What is hell? Emotions? Thoughts? The fallen state?
Repeat that?
I think love is a simple hug. What do you think about that? What is hell? Emotions? Thoughts? The fallen state? I'm reading it as it's written. What is hell? He might mean, is emotions hell? Or are thoughts the fallen state? But I'm not positive that that's what he's asking or saying. But what do you think about love is a simple hug?
I like that. That makes sense.
Nice.
Because I know a lot of ladies, they prefer a hug over anything else.
Yep.
Thank you.
Danny,
I don't understand the other part of what you said. Thank you.
Danny Moore bought a coffee. All right, Jason, the lads, what do you guys think? Better to discover the truth of yourself, say at the age of 50, or be told the truth about yourself at age 20? What do you think? It's better to discover the truth for yourself at, say, age 50, or be told it at age 20? I say 50. Discover it for yourself at 50, rather than be told it at a younger age and never learn.
Thank you. I don't quite understand the question, but thank you.
You don't understand discovering for yourself versus being told the truth?
But didn't they say at some age?
Yeah.
So the question is, which is better, to be told the truth at 20?
Uh-huh. Or to discover yourself at 50?
To be told at 20.
Okay.
About the truth, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're ready for the truth at 20, you start to wake up.
Okay. It sounds like he's implying that you don't know it for yourself, though, if you're just told it.
Oh, that's what he's implying?
I'm assuming.
But see, it's not clear, so that's why I can't answer it.
Nick's sitting there with legs wide open like a true alpha, laughing face emoji with tears.
I noticed I was really black on that show. I don't know if it was the makeup thing or what it was.
You were wearing a light blue shirt,
suit. That may happen.
That may have contrasted.
Right, black people can't normally wear white. I know now you can more than before because the cameras are made better now. But blacks can't normally wear light stuff on TV. And I had on a light suit, and I'm already black at the Ace of Spades. That did not help. Thank you.
Sean agrees with me about discovering is better. Beware of unearned wisdom, says Sean, your producer. Nice. Anyway, moving on.
Thank you.
March.
That's about the suit.
No, that's about
the black.
No, it's obviously about the other thing that we were talking about before.
Oh.
But anyway, Chalice bought a couple of cash apps saying thanks, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Lily Pooh over on Rumble yesterday.
You got to know how to rumble.
Answering last week's biblical question.
What is hell?
Hell is the chaos we create for ourselves in day-to-day life.
Amazing. Thank you. We dealt with it on Sunday. You can podcast. It was amazing. rebuildingtheman.com/church.
Yep. Donnie Girl's Idea donated on a Rumble rant yesterday as well during church saying, I love these lessons. My first attendance to church with JLP. So revealing.
Amazing. Amazing fellowship yesterday. People involved. Really, really involved. It was amazing. Working on themselves. Work on yourself. You will not regret it. And stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Amazing. Thank you.
On D Live, Evgeny Crosby with a diamond during church. Jesse had this man crying in church. Beta.
Well, I didn't have him crying. He's really working on himself. And it's tough right now, but he's getting there because one thing I know about him, he does not give up. He hasn't given up, so right on. Thank you.
Piotr bought 5 coffees. Thank you, Jesse and the team, for the best fellowship on this side of heaven. Amazing.
Amazing.
Thumbs
Thank
up
you.
Emoji.
Amazing. Trump.
Anthony A. Drums over on IG. We were streaming church live on Rebuilding the Man Instagram. What kind of practical process do you guys use when the thoughts arise to allow them to pass?
Just watch them. It's like watching a movie. You're sitting there observing the movie, but you're not in the movie. I know some people get in the movie because they don't take a second look away from the movie. But when you're watching a movie, you just watch it and it goes from scene to scene, commercials, back, and blah, blah, blah. All you're doing is observing. That's all you need to do, and the rest will be done for you. Thank you.
Aries 1 gave a diamond and 2 diamonds, no message, thank you.
Thank you.
WD41 gave a diamond. Hello from sunny Scotland.
Hello from rainy L.A. Though it's not raining right now. It rained this weekend. Thank you.
WD41 with a couple...
All the way from Scotland.
Yeah.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. And if you're black, and they mama. Thank you.
He gave a couple of more diamonds. Thank you, WD41. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Canadian David says, when Hassan wears that hood, he transforms into Hakan.
Thank you.
Shout out to Hakan and Baby Hitler. Thank you, Canadian David.
Know how to rumble.
You can super chat on rumble.com/JC Lee Peterson. Thank
you.
Oh, this is an answer to the biblical question.
What is hell? The one from this week or last week?
This week.
This week? Who is God? Do you know God?
God is, e.g., for example, I think, God said, I am. I see God in everything. Yes, I know.
Thank you. That's just how big God is. You just saw how big is God. You heard that? Hake.
I don't know if I have. I don't know if I've heard that.
That's just how big God is.
Cool.
Bigger than the mountain, wider than the sea. But anyway, thank you.
Aries 1 with a couple more diamonds. No message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sho Sugino bought 3 coffees. A says for some sweet potato pie.
Good.
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you.
The Key bought a coffee. Biblical question. Who is God? Do you know him?
Right. Who is God? Do you know God?
God is, in quotation marks, the creator of all that is seen and unseen. I've come to know him through the spirit of truth.
Amazing.
Nice.
Thank you. I'll put my 2 cents in on Sunday.
Soul Conscious bought 5 coffees. Jesse, I was not aware I had so many vices until I started doing the silent prayer for the last few years. I highly recommend it to all. Amazing.
Yeah.
Sunday's church, too.
There are layers and layers and layers of vices there. Really. Just work on it. Watch them. Don't call them you. You're not them, and they are not you. And you will overcome layers and layers. Maybe 50 or 60. Amazing. Thank you.
Shredia says, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
Amazing. Thank you.
Canadian David says, I got a Purple Rain CD still in the wrapper. Haven't heard much Prince. What the?
Purple Rain, Purple Rain. Oh, thank you.
Prep Ham Paul, monthly supporter on Rumble. You can subscribe on Rumble, on Jesse Lee Peterson Rumble. He says, unanimous. Supreme Court says, or SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, says states cannot ban Trump from ballots. I wonder how the left will spin this to try to justify banning President Trump from ballots.
Were they,
they
made that decision today?
Wow, is this Super Chat breaking news for us?
I hope so.
I don't know. That'd be
I
nice.
heard that the Supreme Court might make a decision whether they can ban Trump in Colorado from being on the ballot. And so they made it already? Are they saying that?
It's official. My mother texted me.
Your mama?
My mama said, you know it's official.
Mama cooking bread.
She said, tell Jesse on the radio. Breaking news.
Breaking news. What's your mama's first name?
Janie.
Janie Hussein, huh?
Mary Janie.
Janie Hussein.
Thank you, Janie. According to CNN, Supreme Court unanimously ruled to keep Trump on Colorado ballot. I don't think anyone's surprised by that.
Wow, unanimous. Even the liberals knew that it was wrong.
Yeah. Amazing.
Pretty wild.
I'm telling y'all, I don't know what the end gonna bring. All right, I'm not saying that, but you need to have a little space between you and the great white hope, Donald Trump, and watch. It's amazing. Thank you.
Gen C.
Thanks for that breaking news, Super Chat.
Prep Ham Paul.
And your mama.
Nice.
Thank you, Hassan Mama.
Based Jewish MAGA Christian gal.
She's a Jew?
I think she said that she's Jewish.
Hassan Mama is Jewish?
Oops, I doxed his status.
Your mama's Jew?
Yeah.
And how do you feel that way about the Jews?
That's according to her, right?
That's according to her. I love them.
Never independently verified.
And she's a Jesus junkie and almost went to January 6th.
Oh, God.
Meaning that she just loves Trump. Yeah, I disavow that, but I'm just saying. Sorry.
Amazing.
Thank you. Peacefully. Gen C bought 5 coffees. Good morning, JLP Universe. Church got a little spice emoji, hot, sweaty emoji yesterday. Yipes.
It was amazing.
Cringe emoji or whatever. Great job with the interaction with the no but my brother guy. Have a great week, everyone.
I'm not my brother's keeper. So you be strong or weaker before you judge me. Why not lift me up? Thank you.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Amazing Asia bought a coffee. Hey, Jesse. So I did the silent prayer, and it led me to see that I should obey my husband. I turned down the job promotion, and told them I could no longer close the store. They accepted my schedule and said they would get back to me to see if I can still get the promotion without closing. Amazing.
Amazing.
Can't wait for our counseling session, too. If we ever need a little guidance, we need it now.
Amazing. Congratulations. And we have the best counseling service on this side of heaven by phone, Skype, or walk-in. go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663.
And that number is free to call via Skype, even if you're overseas, by the way.
Yeah.
The 888 and the 800 numbers.
Nice.
So, all right. And thank you, guys. I do believe that is all for now.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you all so much for your support. Let me go to Pete, a first-time call out of Ohio. Pete, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Jesse.
Hey, Pete.
I got a question for you. So I'm trying to, I just would really want some more insight on your idea that women don't have love. Because I guess sometimes that's kind of like tough to grasp when I'm out in the world, interacting with women, in my life, at work, in relationships. I guess could you like touch more on that? How I can like understand that and kind of like really work with that? Like,
what do you mean by a tough to grasp?
I guess like what does it mean that women don't have love? How do I just can't understand it.
Can you hold for me, Pete? Let me take a quick break.
Sure.
All right, hold on. 888. This clock must be high. Off up top. 888. What? 888-7753. Hake coming in with the hate news, not the fake news, and I'll be back in a moment. One more hour to go. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing.
A whole lot of mess going on in the world. Am I right? This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, Female Monday, March 4th, AD 2024. Stay tuned for hour 3, last hour of JLP, coming right up. Back to your calls. Hang tight, callers. The lines are full, so you cannot get in at this moment, but you can try, because occasionally some people drop off. After the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, the Hake Report, and then, of course, Joel Friday TV, and then, of course, American Anchor Baby. Catch his show from Friday. It was cool, too, by the way. And first Thursday of the month is this Thursday for the men only, 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles. That's March 7th, 2024. 7 p.m. at Bond, rebuildingtheman.com/events if you need more info, or 1-800-411-BOND, 1-800-411-2663 is the office. Texas burning, California snowing. God's judgment? CNN says, will it end in fire or ice? Texas still coping with the record-setting Smokehouse Creek fire, which has burned more than 1 million acres. Parts of NorCal, meanwhile, Northern California, were buried this weekend under a raging blizzard. What a mess. CVS and Walgreens and the FDA, not mentioned, pushing abortion pills. Who's expanding their disservices? Ask the ladies at the skim. They didn't say disservice. I said disservice. They said service. CVS and Walgreens. On Friday, the retail pharmacy giants said they're going to start dispensing abortion pills in states where it's legal, abortion being short for abortion. Since Roe v. Wade was overturned, at least 14 states have moved to ban abortion to some degree, right? Including medication abortions, which accounted for more than half of abortions in the United States in 2020 per numbers. CVS said that they will fill prescriptions for mifepristone, one of the 2 drugs used for medication abortion. in Massachusetts and Rhode Island in the weeks ahead. Walgreens will start off in California, Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania at select locations. Comes weeks before the so-called Supreme Court set to hear oral arguments on whether to restrict access to mifepristone. The skim fails to mention the evil FDA's involvement in green-lighting this for the commie capitalist corporations selling this to the ladies. We use the term loosely. And Chin Up King, another BLM public lynching of a white, I think. Black Lives Matter. Who people are remembering Elijah McClain in their imaginations. On Friday, paramedic Peter Sichuniak, something like that, was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his role in Elijah McClain's 2019 death. The 23-year-old black, he died after police confronted him on his walk home, I guess, held him in a chokehold, and paramedics injected him with ketamine to calm him down. One of 3 police officers involved. Of the 3 police officers involved, only one was convicted and sentenced to 14 months in jail. It's rare for a paramedic to face charges, but in this case, both paramedics were convicted of criminally negligent homicide for injecting Elijah McClain with too strong of a ketamine dose. Ketamine, with a K. Sichuniak was also convicted of second-degree assault for unlawful administration of drugs. I'm shaking my head. The second paramedic will be sentenced next month. What a mess. I'll touch on it in the Hake report, show you pictures of these guys. Women's sports, the far-left female run outlet, the Skim report. Who's dropping buckets like it's her job? Caitlin Clark with a C, and no Y. Yesterday, the college basketball sensation set an all-time scoring record for men or women at the NCAA with 3,685 career points. The record was first set by Louisiana State University's Pistol Pete Maravich. Pistol Pete. He was white. In 1970. Is he still alive? I don't know. More than 50 years later, Clark is redefining, Caitlin Clark, that is, redefining women's college basketball. Just last month, she became the top women's scorer. She is a natural woman, right? Not one of those. Her jerseys are flying off the virtual shelves with Fanatics, which is a store online, reportedly saying she's become the top-selling college athlete. And tickets for her games have gone through the roof. Good job, Caitlin Clark. She's going to be picked by the Indiana Fever in next month's WNBA draft. I'm James Hake.
To stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show already. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. And if you're out and about, busy, working out, no matter what you're doing, crossing the borders illegally, getting 4 stars hotel in New York as an illegal, and a card, a credit card, and a telephone, and free education, you can still be listening to the show. You can podcast later, but you can listen while you're in line getting your free stuff by calling 641-793-1500. That's 641-793-1500. Don't forget, we have every way that you can watch it and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. Support us on social media. And like, follow, ring the bell, blah, blah, blah. And to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk or Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP on Cash App. It's Monday. Every Monday is Female Monday. Amazing.
I like to make men uncomfortable.
All my life I had to fight.
Let women take over.
Some of us believe that women are getting paid less than men.
I proudly say I'm a feminist. Thank you.
Deep in their soul, they want to be home with those babies. We've been lied to for so long.
Amazing. Brand new biblical question. Who is God? Who is God? Do you know God? Who is God? Do you know God? I want to go quickly back to Pete out of Ohio, first-time caller. And Pete wants to know if women have love or not. Right, Pete?
Right.
Do you believe, before I respond, do you believe women have love or no love?
Well, that's kind of my dilemma. I do believe that women have love, and I mean that's kind of something that I've believed my whole life because people have love.
And why do you believe women have love?
I believe that I've been shown love and loved by women my whole life, throughout my life. Women I've been in relationships with, married to, my mother, family, friends, and so I guess that's why I've been conditioned to believe.
Right. If it's love that you think that they have in those relationships you've been in, why it never lasts?
Amazing.
Amazing.
So should that affect the way that I treat women or talk to them?
If you believe that they have love, why it never lasts with the women you've been involved in, the ones you know and all that? Why it never lasts? Why does it always never last if it's love?
That is the question. Wow. That's something I'm going to have to really, really sit with. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
And why haven't you pondered that? If I think these women have love, how come it never works? Why it always turn into a mess if it's love? Why haven't you pondered that before?
Well, I have. I have.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I'm calling to
right.
Get your insight on that.
Women ought to have hate, and that so-called feel-good feeling they get is hate. That's not love. And it just disguises itself as love. Real love has no feeling. Real love requires nothing from anyone. It doesn't want anything from anyone. It doesn't need anything from anyone. It stands on its own. But that you thought or think that women have, it's only hate. Women do not have love. Women are looking for love, and they never get it because they never got it from their father. Their mothers made sure of that. And then when they meet men, they never get it. They always get sex and not love. But they're all looking for it. They just don't have it, though.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. And men don't have love either on their own. It comes from God. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, woman over children, right? The love comes from above. That comes through the woman comes from below. It's of their father, the devil.
Yes.
And the devil pretend to be God.
I got it. Yeah.
the part about the men whose love comes through God, I'm very clear on that.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Jesse. Big fan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. See ya.
All right, buddy. Let me go to Denny out of Bulgaria. Denny, there's one line open, by the way, 888-77-DESK. Denny, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on, Brian. Don't hang up. Hey, Denny.
Hey, Mr. Peterson. Can you hear me well?
Loud and clear.
All right, good. Mr. Peterson, I'm calling to share a few good advices my father gave me when I was a child. It's basically everything you're talking about. And I was very little. I was 6, 7, something like that. And I don't remember what happened because it was so long ago, but I went back home and I was angry. And he asked me what's going on. I said, nothing, everything is fine. And I went to my room. And he came to me and he said, listen, if you don't want to talk about it, I respect that, but don't ever lie to me like that again, because you can never hide from me. Everything that you're going through is something I've been through. If you don't want to talk it, you don't want to talk about it. That's okay. But I understand everything that you're going through. So if you want to talk about it, I'm here. And just don't lie to me. All right? And it was, you know how you said every kid is like that with a father? I was like that too. And it was a very good advice he gave me.
Did he protect you? Did your father protect you from your mother?
Yeah.
And how did he protect you?
They were actually a team. They always have been. And every time there was, like, when they had an issue or something, they just sent me away to my grandparents. They resolved it on their own. I honestly don't remember seeing them having scandals or shouting at one another when I was younger. Their focus was mostly on me not understanding that there were problems.
And
I kind of felt it.
I'm sorry?
Say again?
You kind of felt it?
Yeah, because, children are sensitive that way. They do sense that something's not exactly okay. It was quite a difficult period when I was young. But he understood that, and both of them understood that. So,
well, how did your father expect you to learn how to deal with women if he didn't allow you to see him dealing with your mother?
That wasn't dealing with the woman. It was something completely different. So the example that I gave you. And,
but I asked you, did he protect you from your mother? And you said yes, and he did it by sending you away. And so
no, that.
But how would that teach you to deal with the women you got involved with if he sent you away rather than doing it in front of you?
I meant that she sent me away when I was a child, when I was younger, and I was a teenager when we started talking about dealing with women. Those are completely different time frames and situations.
But when you were small, he didn't allow you to see him dealing with your mother?
No, not really.
And why not?
Well, that kind of, scandals, scandals in the matter, like, they were arguing with one another. When they were arguing with one another, they really didn't want me to see them argue.
And why not?
I have no idea.
Have you never asked, well, how am I supposed to deal with women when I grow up if I don't see a father's supposed to deal with his wife, your mother, with patience and perfect love and correct her. And as you observe that, it shows you how to deal with them too, and it draws you closer to your father. You never ask him, why didn't you let me see you deal with her when I was little?
It wasn't necessary because he actually told me how to do it. First of all, when it came to dating, that's another advice he gave me.
Is it better to let you see it or to tell you about it?
It depends.
On what?
And on the situation. Like, for example, say again.
Meaning what?
Well, for example, when I started dating, he gave me that advice. You like a girl, you like a woman, you ask once. If the answer is no, you wish her well, and you never ask again. That's how it is. If it doesn't happen.
As an adult, you never ask him why didn't he do that, be an example for you like that?
No, not really, no.
Didn't it ever cross your mind?
It never did. I somehow always internally knew.
Amazing.
It was like an intuition, like a reflex. You know, when there is a dog that's tied to a pole and starts barking at you and you kind of move aside, although the dog is tied, it's a reflex. It's like that.
But we're not supposed to act like animals like that. And you're right.
No. I gave it as an example.
That is the animal nature. That reflex is the animal nature. And we're supposed to, as human beings, overcome the animal nature of reflect.
Definitely not all. I definitely don't believe all the reflexes are part of the animal nature. Some reflexes are, basically there as an instinct.
Like what, for example?
Well, when I know you talk to a lot of people, let's say you go to a conference and somebody is talking and you can simply spot that this person isn't genuine, this person is lying. That's reflex. You just have this internal knowledge that it's not okay to believe everything this person is saying.
But there's no reflex to it because when you're of the truth, when you die from that old nature, that animal nature, that reflective nature, there is no reflex at all in truth. It's unmovable.
Reflex is, how to explain, like when you hear a sound and you turn your head to see it. You just like a reaction to it. That's what I mean by reflex.
But in truth, there is no reaction to anything. But
you have to react.
Why?
Well, it's a. Let's just say you're driving the car and out of nowhere there's a kid with a bow and you have to react. It's a reflex to step on the brake.
But you just gave me a practical example. You're right. You gotta put your feet on the brakes. But spiritually, you don't react to anything inwardly, because the truth is you can't touch it. There's no reflection to it. It just is.
Right, but I gave you the practical example with the dog as well. Just because it's tied and it starts to bark at you, you move aside as a reflex. It's a practical example. You don't know if it's going to bite you or not. That's what I meant.
But, okay, I understand. But it's interesting, Danny, that your father would not allow you to see him dealing with your mother, because our parents are supposed to be a living example and not a wordy example. You can't really teach them. You can teach them intellectually with words, but that's not helping them in reality. It's just intellectual knowledge. But I appreciate that, man. Wise advice that he told you about the other thing.
Yeah, she did. She died, I think, a few days ago.
Who?
And, yeah.
Your father died recently?
Yeah, he did.
Well, may his soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson.
How old was he?
71.
Oh, yeah? May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, thank you. And I just wanted to give that advice because to tell you that situation,
Yeah, I
you can never hide from me because I'm just like you.
Amazing.
And everything. And it's everything you're talking about, and I really wanted to share because I know young fathers are listening to your program. So.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that, buddy. Amazing.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Kind regards to your audience and your colleagues, and God be with you, sir.
You too, buddy. Thank you, Danny. Amazing. May your daddy's soul rest in peace. Gone too soon, Hake said. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Umberto out of New Jersey. Umberto, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how you going, Mr. Peterson?
All is well.
I want to ask you a question. Donald Trump, how are you going to do in the primary in California and New York? What do you think? You going to win in California, the primary, or are you going to win both in November also? I want to know How you predict that?
You know, it's a good question, but I really don't know. It's hard to know right now, especially with everything being so messy and you can't trust anyone, and so I just have a wait and see. And but I do know if ever we needed him to win, we need him now. But I just don't know, Umberto. That's a good question.
I want to ask you a good question. Who you think he can pick the vice president? Who you think? And the problem is everybody says Tim Scott in South Carolina, Senator Tim Scott. I don't know.
Well, I pray that he does not pick Tim Scott. Tim Scott is weak. He's a beta male. He's a mama's boy. He got on his knees to ask some woman at the beach, according to the picture, to marry him. Tim Scott is a mama boy. He believes racism exists. Tim Scott would not be a good candidate as VP. I'm not sure. I like Larry Elder. I think Larry would be good. I like, there's this guy from Ohio. He's a congressman, I guess. He seemed to be really well. I don't know, but I definitely don't think it should be Tim Scott. That's for sure.
And you think Trump going to win the 14th state tomorrow, right? The Super Tuesday.
I hope so. I believe so. I hope so.
Okay. Thank you for your advice, and God bless you, and be well.
I will, buddy. Thank you very much.
You.
Okay. It's hard to know, folks. I'm telling you, the one thing, if I haven't learned anything in life, I've learned to have a wait-and-see attitude about all things. You cannot go wrong, men and women, if you have a wait-and-see attitude about all things. About all things. Scott, there's a line open at 888-7753-773. Scott from Colorado. Scott, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, my friend. How are you, Jesse?
All is well. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Amazing.
Missing my wife, Debbie, but not being depressed like you suggested when I called you a while back.
Yeah, I was going to ask right now, what is it like having a wife for so long? Amazing wife, by the way, and now she's gone. What's that like for you?
It's like a fog. It's like I'm walking around in a fog.
Yeah.
Like it's not, and it's like a dream that I haven't woken up from yet. Yeah, that's what it's like.
That's amazing. You do you find yourself talking to her sometimes, though she's not there?
You know, less and less, but I did it more right after than I do now, admittedly.
Would you get married again?
I mean, I haven't even thought about that at this point in time, and
Don't.
I would say no right off the bat.
Right
off
on.
the bat, I'd say no.
Yeah, enjoy your life, your grandkids, and everything.
Yeah. Got plenty of those to deal with. So.
Yeah. Well, again, man, may her soul rest in peace. I'm glad I got to know her.
Yeah, so am I. I'm glad you did too, and I'm glad she got to know you as well.
So it was amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I just want to let you know that years ago, you may remember that you advised me to forgive my mother because of issues I had with her growing up because she was so ultra critical of all of us children. And now she's 92 years old. She still lives back in Iowa, in the house we grew up in, all by herself. Goes and gets her own groceries and goes to the Y and works out and she's still pretty far left, but
wow.
because I forgave her, and we're just careful what we talk about so that we don't get into arguments anymore. Because I don't need to argue with my 92-year-old mother. She does not need that or deserve that. And we're getting along beautifully. I talk to her a couple times a week. So
that's amazing. She's 92. That's amazing. She's a long really life.
Good. You never know it by looking at her or listening to her, but your advice years ago for me to, let go and forgive her really, really turned that ship around for me and for her and our relationship. And I just wanted to let you know that after this much time, and thank you again for that.
You're welcome, man. It's amazing. If every human being were to just forgive, truly forgive, we can have peace on earth right now. It can happen in an instant.
Yeah.
Amazing.
By the way, I'm identifying as a female today, so you can call me ma'am. It's Female Monday.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's amazing. Well, Scott, it's good to hear from you, man. And
yep. I'll call again.
Good. Stay with us. Stay with it, right?
Yep.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you, Jesse.
You're welcome.
See you, brother.
Amazing.
Bye-bye.
Amazing. Let me go to, there's a line open. Brian out of North Carolina. Brian, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse. What a great call that was just now.
I know. Amazing. I've known Scott and his wife for a long time, man.
That's really amazing. And what he said about his relationship with his mother now was really amazing.
90-something years old. That's the way people used to live. Men and women used to live to be that old. I know my grandmother aged folks, her friends and people that lived down the road, and they died at 110 and 90-something, and they didn't die young. They died old.
Yep.
I think Monsieur was 100 and some. Miss Seagull was like 110, I think.
I believe it.
Miss May lived forever.
Jesse, you've been cracking me up all day, man. You've been up here singing. I can hear you hitting them notes. You've just been cracking me up all day.
That's funny. Did you ever know Miss May? Miss Seagirl.
That's some old names.
Miss Seagirl and Mr. Robert lived down the road from us. And I remember one morning I woke up and I heard all this noise outside the house in the middle of the road. And my grandmother and Mr. Robert were fighting. And my grandmother had Mr. Robert down on the ground, beating him up. I'm like, what the?
What?
Yeah, she beat Mr. Robert.
Was your grandmama a big mama woman?
She wasn't. My grandmother was kind of tall and skinny, pretty. She had Indian hair. And she was pretty, but she was strong. I think because she worked those cotton fields.
Oh, yeah, that'll probably do it to you. That's when them corn-fed hay bale throwing women.
I'm telling you, man. What the? Amazing.
But, yes, sir. So I called in because I wanted to talk about the church service you had yesterday, which was amazing. That was a really amazing church service.
It was more than a notion, folks. Check it out at rebuildingtheman.com/church. It was a blessing.
It was. And the biblical question was, what is hell?
From last week?
Yes, sir.
What is hell?
Yeah, and hell is the mind. And it's funny how everybody that lives in their head, you can't get through to them, and it's because they love it, but nobody wants to admit that they do love their hell. And in church, I noticed right towards the end of right before the guy stormed out, you were being funny. Well, not really being funny, but just kind of going along. You were like, "No, don't leave," and then everybody else in the church went inside of their mind and then found this good side and started being like, no, don't leave. And then you turned around and you were like, I'm just playing, y'all. Don't jump on that.
When I was asking him to stay, I was hoping that he would sit in his pain, whatever he was feeling right then, to kind of sit in it and not run from it or run from within himself, not run from it or get up and leave, because the only way all of us is going to overcome that hell, we got to sit through the hell in order to overcome the hell, that old nature. And I was hoping that he'd do that, but maybe he just wasn't ready yet. But I know him. He's been coming around for a minute. I think that I just don't see him giving up. I think he'll be fine.
And I was, and I'm glad to hear you say that right there at the end too, Jesse, because I'm right there. I don't even know this guy, but what I do know is that once people see what's really going on, however you see them reacting to it, they cannot turn away from that. And if they just stay with it a little bit, it'll get better and better and better.
Yeah.
But
and I don't know. It might have been good that he did leave. I don't know, but I was hoping that he would just sit through it. But we'll see. Oh, and by the way, folks, we're having the men's forum this Thursday night. I forgot to mention that. This Thursday night, the first Thursday of every month, the men's forum. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was just when I was on hold, I thought about this analogy of how the mind is like. You're given this first class ticket to hop on this plane that's already on fire, but you don't know it. And then you're taking this plane in first class, and it's so luxurious, and it's everything you want, and you don't want to let go of it. And if the black stewardess came down the aisle and told you to get up out of your seat, you'd be like, how dare you? No, you're not taking this away from me. And that's what's happening in the mind with people, whether they know they love it or not. It's like you're headed towards hell. And you can see that it's on fire. If you can see that it's on fire, why don't you just land the plane or step off? Leave whatever it is behind and just step off and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, well, like with everyone, all of us, we think that it's us. And we take it on as our identity. And a lot of people would say to me, well, if I let that go, who will I be? If I don't identify with my thoughts and feelings, who will I be? And I try to inform them that you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, and we let all that go, then the real you will appear. Brian, thank you, buddy. I think I hear the clock, but thank you. Amazing call. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I wish you well.
You too, man.
Thank you.
Amazing. 888-7753-773. There is a line open. When I come back, your super chats and phone calls. The treasure chest is now open on D-Live. Back in a moment. Check out my book, For Raised to Responsibility. I show you how I was able to overcome anger. The spirit of anger was taken away from me. I had it. And as a result of having anger, I was insecure. I had doubt, worry, fear. I was in a fallen state and didn't know it. And it wasn't until I went and forgave my mother, who tried to turn me away from my father. I forgave my father for not being there and returned back to him. My spirit connected with his spirit, and through him, I was able to return to God. And I have perfect peace. Perfect love casts out anger. And when anger is gone, fear and doubt, worry, insecurity, suicidal thoughts, all of that is gone, and you are free. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or if you want an autographed copy, you can go to my website at rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. Welcome back. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Quick announcement. The Hake report is coming up at the top of this hour. The Hake Hake report.com from 9 a.m. Pacific time to 11 a.m. And after the Hake report, Joel Friday TV, he black. Joel Friday TV Dancing for Jesus at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And after Joel Friday TV, the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby with energy given to him by God. From at 12 noon today. Amazing. And don't forget, personalized shout-outs. Go to rebuildingtheman.com. No, Cameo. CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. All right. 888-7753-773. Let me go to James, a first-time call out of New York. James, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. How you doing, buddy?
All is well, James.
I just wanted to reach out to you and say thank you, because this past 3 weeks I've been listening to you, and I feel like I've learned a lot from you so far with dealing with things growing up, and I just want to say thank you. I know I'm emotional. I know emotion's a devil, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's hard to not let it out and show you how much your words mean to me. I listened to you about forgiving my parents. You know, when I was younger, I grew up in the foster care system. And I aged out of it, you know, from like 6 years old to 18. And I held a lot of resentment towards my parents for not, you know, stepping up and coming and getting me out of there and trying to raise me, you know. And this weekend I visited my mom. I told her, I'm sorry for how I was when I was younger, but I also forgave her for everything. I told her to look me in the eye because she wouldn't look me in the eye because she knows she felt bad about it. And, she held me. She told me, thank you so much for forgiving me. And I took her to go see my dad. He's in a nursing home. He had some strokes and he was bedridden. And I've been scared to go to see him because I wasn't prepared to, forgive him. And I was always scared I was going to lose my chance because I hear all the time the people who speak on the line. They say, oh, my father died or my mother died. I never had the chance to forgive them. And before I listened to you, I was scared that I was going to steal that chance from myself.
Right. Amazing.
And I did it, and I feel such a weight lifted off of me.
Yeah.
I feel like I can live happier. And man, I got to thank you with the thoughts were lies, because I would always be telling myself, you're worthless, you're nothing, you don't deserve to be where you are or have what you have. And when I heard you say that and talk about the silent prayer, I was like, you know what? Thoughts are lies. They come from the devil. And I'm just going to let myself be in a silent prayer and let nothing manipulate me. And I was in peace. I was in silence. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear God. I didn't hear myself. I just sat in silence. And I was like the first time in my life where I just felt peace,
Amazing. I understand.
And I'm just really grateful. I came across you, and I'm sorry I've been talking a lot, but I just had to let you know how important you've been a part of my life with the short time I've been listening to you.
How old are you, James?
I'm 33.
Nice. If you stay with it, James, I'm telling you the truth. If you stay with it, it's just going to get better and clearer and better and clearer, and it's going to blow your mind, man. There are no words to express that the love that God has for us all and the freedom and the perfect peace that come with it. And at age 33, you are blessed to be waking up at such an early age.
Yes, sir. I already feel it. I feel I've been letting go of anger. I don't get upset anymore. And then when I'm even thinking about getting angry, I'm able to check it right away. It's like before, I feel like if I was getting angry, I would get worked up and I would be upset that I have to deal with anger. But now I feel like when I'm getting angry, I'd be like, don't do that. That's not helpful. And I'm able to check it before it even gets to a point where I get worked up. And man, is it making a difference in my life.
And now that you're not identifying with the spirit of anger, which is evil, by the way, and the nature of Satan, now that you're no longer identifying with it, if you never identify with it again, if it should come up, just watch it, check it, as you said, but don't call it you because it is not you. It has never been you. You just thought it was you, and it will be taken away from your body, your mind, and your body. It'll be done with. Just never identify anymore with it. And that's part of the ego death that you're going to have to go through now. And when it happens, just let it pass. Know that it's not you, and you'll be fine. All those spirits will be taken away from you.
Amazing.
Amazing. Amazing, Jane. Well, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And stay with the silent prayer because you want to always be conscious. You want a conscious life, not an unconscious life. You want a conscious life, and you can have it if you work on it.
Yes, sir.
Amazing, James.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you taking the call.
You're welcome, and thanks for calling. Call me again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye now. I'm telling you, folks, every human being on this side of heaven have to go through this. They're going through hell, and only a few want to overcome hell. I understand that, but if you want to overcome your hell that's in you, you can. It's up to you. It really is up to you. Or you can stay in your hell. No sweat off God's back, Christ's back, nor mine. You're welcome to stay in your hell, but you can do like James. You can overcome your hell. It's up to you. Philip, there's one line open, 888-7753-773. Philip is a first-time call out of Missouri. Philip, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Jesse Lee, how are you doing, sir?
All is well, Philip.
Good deal, good deal. I had a question. I've been doing the silent prayer real quick with my girlfriend at the time. It's amazing. I just have a question. When you say all thoughts are lies, there's some good thoughts. How do I say this? Okay. There's a lot of decisions in the day. Which ones? It can't be all, can it?
Did you say that there are some good thoughts?
Well, there's some thoughts that are decision-making process. If you have a thought, you got to make money. Where do I draw the line?
Those are practical thoughts. That's fine. Those are tools that you function with on this earth, but you don't live by them. Let's say you got to make money. You go out and get a job. Once you get a job, you don't have to think about making money anymore. You have the job. Those are practical thoughts.
Okay, and when I'm thinking about marrying this woman I'm with, and a lot of thoughts come into my mind, I didn't know if some of these thoughts are coming from God or they're coming from Satan.
And can you give me an example of thinking about marrying her?
Yes, sir. I honestly have been thinking all the bad things that could come along with the marriage and all of the good things that could come along with the marriage.
Are you guys like what, for an example?
Well, for example, I'm thinking, I make a pretty good amount of money. I have a great job. What if this woman in 2-3 years turns out to be evil, and I just miscalculated her, and I thought she was amazing, and come to find out, I've seen it happen before. So I'm trying to think, where do I draw the line? Should I say that good thoughts? She's amazing. I'm going into my future, Jesse.
Right. Are you living with her, or is she living with you?
She's living with me.
And why?
Well, because I asked her to, and I really do want to get married. And I just want to make sure I'm making the right decision. But when all thoughts are lies, it's, I don't know if it's my thoughts, God's thoughts, or the devil's thoughts.
Well, none of those are God's thoughts, that's for sure.
You mean living with her?
About what would happen if this happened, or if this happened. She, making good money, and this happened, what's going to happen, right? Here's what I recommend so you know for sure.
Okay.
And it's up to you to take the advice, but it's just a way for you to know for sure.
Okay.
Before you marry her, don't live together and no sex for a year.
No sex for a year, okay.
And don't live with her for a year, no sex.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yes, I think that's going to be hard.
Why?
I don't know. I can do it. I don't know. You think she'd stick around?
If she doesn't, then you know that's not the woman to marry.
Okay. I like it, Jesse.
Why you say it would be hard to live without? You still can date her, just don't sex her or marry her. I mean, or live with her.
Yeah, we have great sex. I mean, I'm talking my way out of it. Like, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I do. But yeah, on the thoughts.
Why you say it's going to be hard to live without living together for a year and no sex? Why would that be difficult?
Well, we have good sex or great sex, and that's
So what you're saying, you're not in love with her, you're in sex with her, right?
Well, I think I'm in love with her, and I think we have great sex, but you could be right. I don't want that to be the basis of the relationship.
Why do you think you're in love with her?
I think because we both believe in God, and we see life pretty much the same. And I feel like I'm in that right place at the right time.
And why do you feel like you're in love with her, though? Why do you think you're in love with her? You just told me about being in sex with her.
It's a feeling. I can't really describe it. It's just a feeling. I feel like that's the place to be.
But you've had that same feeling with other women.
Not this same feeling.
How was it different?
I can't describe it. It's it's hard to describe.
Well, why do you wonder if she would go away if you didn't live with her for a year and no sex?
That's a good question. It goes back to the thoughts. My brain thinks a lot.
Yeah.
The silent prayer helps out, but that's where I'm just wondering what thoughts to believe. I said financial, but when it comes to that, I don't know if I should be thinking. You're saying doing it, but I'm still thinking about it.
Right. You should have a wait and see. And if she stays, you will see that maybe this is the right woman. If she leaves, you will see that it wasn't the right woman.
That makes sense. I like that, Jesse.
So I highly recommend you give it a good year, no sex and no living together. You still date her, and don't spend your money on her or anything. Just maybe you take out to dinner sometime or whatever, but don't buy her clothes, don't pay her rent, don't do any of those things for her so you can see the real deal. Because right now you don't see the real deal. You're looking through, you're seeing her through thoughts and emotions, and all thoughts and emotions are lies. They're never right.
That makes sense. I like it. Jesse, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All the time. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day.
I wish you well. So give it a good try. No sex, and don't have sex now because you may get pregnant.
Absolutely.
She'll find out that you're about to put her out there on her own so you can see she'll get pregnant and you really have a problem on your hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I wish you well, Philip.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, buddy. 888-7753-773. Tony, a first-time caller out of New York. Tony, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Mr. Peterson, how you doing today?
All is well, Tony.
Hey, I've been. I found you in the last couple weeks. I saw you on the Your Mom's House podcast and started going down the rabbit hole listening to you each day. And I think you bring so much love and wisdom to the world. So I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
My question is, thank you. My question is, I'm trying to do your system right now as far as I'm doing the silent prayer. It's really helping. I'm starting to see all the thoughts and emotions as lies. I'm starting to observe them and be a witness. Praise be to God. But the next thing I'm trying to do is forgive my parents and my mom. I'm just trying to sort that all out because it's a mess.
How old are you?
I'm 31, Jesse.
Okay, and when you say it's a mess, what do you mean?
Well, just complicated. It's like the main aggravating thing is it's Woman Monday, right? It's my sister growing up, my older sister. Somehow that got in the mix, and everything's been so complicated with that and my parents. And basically, I guess my parents just didn't know how to handle her. And she was a wild child, and for some reason I was in the middle of it all, and I was like the translator with her, and I don't know. I mean, like, it's not, my parents weren't that bad, you know. It's not like they were. I mean, I feel like I basically forgave them in my 20s, and I stopped doing drugs, and I stopped doing all this type of stuff and trying to live right. And I talk to them now and everything. So my relationship with them isn't that bad, but I guess it's my sister that stresses me out the most. I mean, she's living out west. She's dancing on a pole. She's doing drugs. She's talking about astrology, all that other stuff. And she's always trying to message me and call me. And I'm the only person that really she talks to. She won't talk to my dad. She talks a little to my mom. And it's just I don't know. It seems like she's the bigger problem than my parents, Jesse.
And so she's a problem because she's calling you about what she's doing? How is she a problem? If she live out west and you live in New York, how is that a problem for you?
I don't know. Maybe I inherited something from my mother where I just worry about her and stuff.
And why do you worry about her?
I guess it's a habit since I was young.
And
because I feel like she does the wrong things and everything like that.
What does it have to do with you? She's a grown woman. She can do what she wants.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense, you know, but it's just, do I got to like forgive her to try to move past this? It's deep in my psyche.
You got to forgive your mother for dumping her load on you and making you a parent and you wasn't ready to be one. Your mother's evil. You got to forgive her for doing that to you, recreating her image. Because you got the mindset and emotion of your mother because she made you responsible for your sister or at least didn't prevent it from happening. And your father didn't stop it either. And they were wrong for doing that to you. That was evil. You're not responsible for your sister. And whatever she does as an adult, that's on her. If she want to live in her hell and destroy herself, she has a right to do that. God's not going to stop her. And you don't have a right to stop her. You're not God, and you don't have a right to worry about anyone. You're playing mother, and that's evil.
I am. And sometimes father, maybe too.
Yeah, but that's evil for you to play that role. You're not God.
So you think I should just forgive my parents for this? Sounds like this is the main problem.
Forgive your mother. Well, see what it is that you resent them for, because I'm sure there's more than just that. But forgive them for dumping their load on you. They were wrong for that. That should never have happened. And let your sister know that you don't want to hear about her troubles anymore. Tell her, go on, live her life. Whatever she wants to do, that's on her. But you don't want to hear about it.
Wow. Amazing. All right, Jesse. All right, that makes sense. I guess I'm just gonna forgive my parents like that, and just keep them moving, man. It's tough to do though. We get used to living on our house. I'm used to worrying about my sister and and thinking my life is complicated.
But you know,
That's what I'm used to.
I know what you mean, but it's hell. It's time for you to overcome that hell and not let your sister or anyone dump their hell on you. You're not your sister's keeper. You're not. You let your sister live her hell until and if she's ready to overcome it, she needs to forgive her parents because she's totally rebelling against them, and that's why she's living in the hell, because she has unforgiveness in her heart. Satan is her God. And if you let her around you and bring her around, she's going to destroy you.
Well, it's funny. I mean, that's me trying to help her and everything like that. If she calls and everything, that's what ends up happening. Is actually, even before I listened to you, I pretty much intuited that that's what she needed to do. Because it's like she won't talk to my dad and all this other stuff, and she holds all this resentment. I even told her, I'm like, you just got to let it go, man. Just forgive him or something, da-da-da. But she won't listen to me. And so every time I try to give her the right advice, you know, it just turns into some sort of crazy argument because she's like the most womanly woman you ever womaned, you know, whoever womaned. She's going to take any criticism as like some sort of crazy personal thing. And it's
so
like,
why you keep arguing
really
with
hard to deal with her.
Why you keep arguing with the devil then? Just give her the finger and let her live in her hell. Because you're making it worse. You're like the government. You keep taking care of her by hearing her mess. And she loved dumping her mess on you and make her stay in it longer.
Oh, I'm the welfare state.
Yeah.
Shit. And I don't like the welfare state. But
yet you act like the welfare.
Wow. Wow, it's really clicking for me. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to forgive my parents for all that. I'm going to do my best to tell my sister, you know.
Not do your best, do it. Just say, look, I've told you, I've given you my best advice. You can overcome, you can stop being evil. But if you don't want to, that's up to you. But I'm done. Don't call me anymore.
All right. I'll try. I will do that.
Do you give her money?
I used to.
I figured that.
Yeah, not in years, Desi. Yeah, I mean, I was a little more beta in my 20s. I haven't given her money in probably 2 or 3 years.
Your sister hate your weakness.
Yeah, and I started telling her no last week, too, because she was calling me about doing something for her, and I was like, listen, I want to help you, but I can't do that.
Don't even say I want to help you. Just say no. You don't owe her an explanation at all. It's time to grow up, man.
I'm trying, Jesse. I mean, I've been off drugs for about 6 months now. It was pot. That was my thing. I was a pot guy. I stopped that 6 months ago. I was. I'm doing a new life right now, and I'm trying to. I am acting right and praying and all that other stuff. So.
Yeah, do the silent prayer morning and night, and watch those thoughts. You're not your thought; they're all lying. Go and face your mother. Forgive her. She's evil. Forgive your father. He's weak. And God will forgive you. Your whole world is just going to light up for you, man. It'll get better. Stay with it. Stay with it. But don't, as of right now, be done with your sister. Just don't be angry at her.
You're right. All right, Jesse, I'll call you back and tell you how it goes.
All right, let me know.
Thank you, brother.
All right, buddy. 888. Oh, no, we're out of time, huh? Are we able to get super chats in real fast?
A couple, baby.
Okay.
Super chat.
Super chats. Aries 1 with a couple of diamonds, no message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing Asia bought a coffee. I just recently found out my husband was lying, so I asked him, why did he lie? He's refusing to answer. When I ask, he tells me to leave him alone.
Nice.
My assumption is because he's scared of me, just because like he's scared of his mama. What do you think? Now I can't trust him to be the leader I thought he was.
I would back off, work on yourself, and you're not supposed to trust people anyway, so you get what you deserve. And don't bug him. Just back off, let him live in his hell, you work on you. All right? So you never fall into that situation again. Thank you.
And don't assume. Don't get in your head.
Right.
Your mind's lying to you.
Your mind lied to you why he won't tell you. You promise something you don't want to hear. Because if he told you, you're just going to get worse and destroy your marriage.
Riley JM bought 5 coffees. I had a neighbor, Willie Mae, who was about 73 years old. She was black. I used to go over to her house when I was about 8 years old. She made me and my sisters fried green tomatoes. Pretty tasty, I'd say.
Amazing. Thank you.
I asked her who she voted for as president. This was 2008. She told me she doesn't want to discuss her politics with anyone. She doesn't discuss it. I knew she voted for Obama. She didn't want to admit it for some reason. She black. Ha ha, says Riley JM. I don't know if you know that, though.
I know. Thank you.
Shout out to Aries 1, WD41, Cactus Eater Bear, Zealous Hermit, and the rest of the D-Live supporters.
Thank y'all.
We'll read your Cash Apps and Twitches tomorrow, guys.
Thank you all very much. Get on that straight and narrow, folks. You will not regret it. Take the journey by yourself. You can't travel with anyone on this trip. God is with you. Drop the anger. Forgive your mama and your daddy and live your life. All right, Rick out of Hampton and the other call. I'm out of time. The Hake Report is coming up now. The Hake Report.com. And after the Hake, Joel Friday TV. He black. Joel Friday TV and the American Anchor Baby. Energy given to him by God at 12 noon. Take care, folks. Thank you so much for your support. I'll be back tomorrow. The Lord is willing. And the creek don't rise. Country Western Tuesday. Amazing. Take care. So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Anytime you have situations happening in your life, always be still. Don't overreact. Most of the people that I know, they say, oh, I know Jesus. I love Jesus. I'm an observer. And as soon as something don't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, what the? If you overreact, folks, remember to do that. Don't overreact. And when you get mad, it's your problem. It ain't your wife's problem, your husband's problem, your neighbor, your friend, your preacher, your teacher. It's your problem. Why you think you tick? It didn't go your way or the way you think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax.